Hello everybody, and welcome to this my next video. I'll just move that over a sec. This one, I've been wanting to do this for a bit, and it's a product comparison between two different sorts of fencing. The rigid plastic detailed fencing that you can get, and one that you build up yourself, and it comes in a package like this. It's good fun. So I'll put it down here and you can see what we're on with. There we go. Now this first one, it comes in a pack. There, sorry. And you get several pieces of it in this pack, and it's rigid plastic, and you just snip it off front frame. You've got to paint it yourself. It comes grey. You've got to paint it to the silver that you want it on. I don't know how good you can see, but there is some really good detail on there when you get close up. The top of each spike has got 3 prongs on it, like a trident, like they have in real life, and that is really, really well detailed. And also there's some like bolt holes and stuff like that. You have to paint it yourself, but that's no big deal. Now the other one, and bearing in mind I'm only going to give you my personal opinion. Other people will have different opinions, and it's just mine. Now this is also from a well-known manufacturer, and it's made out of laser board. The detail that you can see here isn't as good as the detail you can see on these, but to be honest, that's reflected in the price. These are twice the cost of this fence. Now the thing is, those are rigid and they've got plenty of detail, and these don't have the detail, but they're a fraction of the cost. Yes, you have to build them up yourself, and you think, oh, they're all sort of soft and floppy and they're going to be no good for what I want and what have you, but you build them up, and once you've built them up, they are quite rigid. You just free them up from this frame quite easily, and they are quite rigid and strong once you've built them up and got all the bits together. Now each leg has just got a couple of lugs on. I'll just quickly do this, and then I'm sorry, I'm blocking it as I'm doing it. Then you can see it out the pack. Now the parts that you build up for it are on each post. You'll get you get an extra piece, so you glue a piece to the front and back of each post, and for all the horizontal bars that go along, you build you get a piece to glue onto those as well. So let me get that out. It pops out easy enough to pull out, and you get 4 of these, and it makes just over 1 metre. You've got to paint it just like you have with the others, but you get these parts. This one here, you've got your gates and everything else, and your hinges, brackets, posts, and you glue all these onto this, and it makes a sturdy fence. Now, so this is half the cost or thereabouts of this one, and you get a little bit more with this one than you do with that, the rigid plastic one, but the detail on that is a lot finer than it is on this. If you're building a British layout, you are going to need, I'll just move this back round again. If you're building a British layout, you're going to need fencing no matter what, because the law says in Britain, and it's a modern one, so you're going to use modern fencing. The law says that all the railway lines have got to be fenced. Obviously, in places like America, where they've got thousands of miles going through the prairies and deserts and things, it'd be totally foolish and impractical to try and fence it all. So you're going to have a fence of some sort. Now, if you're running an end-to-end layout, straight fence on the outside, that's fine. But if, like myself, you're running a tail chaser where it goes around in a big loop, you're going to have some radius on the fences to work out, you know, and to get round. So I'm just going to show you back down here again. I'll show you how this frees up from the plastic frame, if we can get in at it. There's just a notch on each thing, that just on each leg again, that just holds it in. There, you just free that one and that one, and just bring it away, and there you've got that one free. Now, comparison for size and everything, they're both bob on. They're both 00 scale 176. You use them for HO if you wanted as well. Exactly the same dimensionally. Now, the thing is, if you want to build a track that's got the curve in it, and you're going to put these around it, when you come to do the curve, you've got a bit of a problem, because they're not that curvy. They will curve a bit, but they're not as flexible, and they are a little bit rigid for that. They will do it to a certain extent, but they're a bit stiffer, and they look a bit contrived. Short pieces, you have to be very good to get them right. Now this one, it'll curve, it'll undulate, it'll do whatever. It's made out of laser board, and what it does, it behaves like cardboard, but it's as strong as plywood, and it looks like MDF, but it isn't. It's some sort of laser board composite material. I'm alright. I've bought a lot of this one, and a couple of packs of this one. Now, for detail, I've got to say this one wins hands down. Hands down. This one, for if you take aside the fact that you've to build the kit yourself, because some people don't like that, and I absolutely love it. I like building kits. I find it very relaxing. And for value for money, this one wins. Now, what I've done is a combination of them both. At the very, very front of my layout, where I've got a fencing, I've used this stuff because you tend to crouch down to have a look at eye level across, and you get the detail and the 3 prongs on the top of this one. So that's close up. Now, all around the back of the layout and down the long straights and the bendy bits right at the far end, I've used this stuff because you'd never get to see the detail that close. And it isn't like the detail's bad. It's just a little bit more detail in this one. And when I say a little bit, it's got the 3 prongs at the top with some bolt holes. This one's single pronged and no bolt holes, but it's still as realistic as because both types of fencing are about and available in the real world. All I can say really is this one's twice the price. You can get it into some corners if you drill the holes and what have you, and get it right. You can get it sort of on an arc. This one is definitely easier for that. I find it easier. Larger pieces of fencing doesn't look as bad either. You know, you can follow that curve, a synonymous curve, all the way around quite nicely with that. What I will say is you've got to drill the holes for this stuff to go in. And now these, you've got to be dead accurate and drill them at exactly the right spacing. It isn't very forgiving. If you get them wrong, that's either going to bend one way or the other, or snap if you don't get it right. So you've got to drill the holes dead right with that. This one is a bit more forgiving. And if you don't build them all in a straight line, it will allow for a little kink or two, you know, a couple of millimeters out here and there. It will allow for that, and it makes it look good, and it'll undulate with the landscape up and down and to and fro. This one is very rigid once it's fixed in, and I've already got both sorts on part of the layout, and I had a run in the other day when I derailed the train. I was going, seeing how fast I could get it to go around the corner. We all do that. And it came off and it hit this fencing, and the fencing yielded, it bent and sprung back, and the carriage didn't come off and do anything. But I dare say if it had hit this plastic stuff, it would have broken the fence. So I was pleased with that, and I've learnt not to go too fast around the corners. So all in all, I would say, for my money, I'm going to buy this one. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I get twice as much fencing for my money. I can cover a lot more ground with it. And while it is easy to drill holes all in a straight line and what have you, when you're leaning right over the back of the layout and you've got your drill and you're trying to drill, it's easy to go out of sync by a millimetre or two. So it is easy to make a mistake, and this stuff is very forgiving of those mistakes. It'll bend and yield. Anyway, I've gone on for far too long, like I didn't really want to. I know it gets a bit mundane when we go on for ages and ages. I'll put a link underneath this for this fencing if you want to have a go at it yourself. It's well worth doing, and it's more cost effective than the other. But you've got to like having a bit of modelling. That's all right for now. Bye bye. Thank you.